What's up, guys? This is Logan. Welcome to the first episode of the Dink Show. What we do on the Dink Show is we design think. We look at cool new topics, emerging technologies, different way of thinking about things, and we talk about them and dig deeper into them with really cool people. On this first episode, this will be our first co-founder check-in. We'll do this every once in a while. And I'm going to be talking with my co-founder, Justin, about clear contracts, about blockchain, about the Cardano summit, and a lot of things in between. I hope you enjoy listening. Welcome to the show. Check in. What's up, Justin? This is my co-founder. We're going to be design thinking clear contracts today, and we're going to have some good conversations.
That's right.
All right, let's kick this thing off. All right, warm-up activity. I'm going to give you 4 buzzwords, and you're going to have to dive deep into one of them. So here they are. Blockchain, decentralization, networking, and data. Just pick one of those, take your time, unpack it,
Yeah.
and we'll get into it.
Yeah. I'll talk about blockchain. So, I think what's important to talk about with blockchain is kind of decoupling it from the idea of cryptocurrency. So, there's all these benefits that you can get from a decentralized ledger and smart contracts that don't necessarily have to do with adopting cryptocurrency. So, basically, all a blockchain is a decentralized ledger. So what that means is, there's a bunch of different computers all over the world, pretty much, that are all on the same network, and they're verifying what's on that network at all times, so they can see, a complete history of the activity on that blockchain. So really, that in itself has nothing to do with money. So the only time that money really gets involved is when you start using that ledger to track transactions and value. So really, what we're focusing on has to do more with blockchain than cryptocurrency. So, we can bring all these benefits of smart contracts without necessarily having anything to do with cryptocurrency.
Yeah, everything you said resonates with me. I want to step back to blockchain. It's like such a buzzword these days. You hear it, and my feeling, my personal opinion, is that people don't truly understand what it is. The easiest way to explain it is a decentralized ledger, like an immutable decentralized ledger. But let's try to dumb it down. What does this mean? So the way I like to try to explain it is through use cases. So it's easy to imagine a decentralized ledger being with money, with a currency. So you record who sends the currency, where it's going to, how much it was. It's easy to imagine that. But if you think of other use cases for blockchain technology, it becomes really exciting. You have concepts like digital ID, where you no longer have to have an identity. The DMV could be a lot better. You could transfer your car title easier. You can think about voting systems with blockchain. So just talk more about what use cases you see for smart contracts. It may not be the ones that we're pursuing right now as a company. We'll get into that later. But just talk about the potential impact blockchain technology can have, because it removes the thing that we have to trust in our society today is a central entity, whether it's a big institution, whether it's this federal government. But now we have a technology that can watch the watchers, and that's powerful. So unpack some ideas of where this technology can create progress, create new innovations, and
Yeah, 100%. So I think that one use case that is super interesting that doesn't necessarily have to do with exchanging monetary value as much as it does utilizing the fact that the blockchain is this immutable record that's completely transparent. So that use case is the coffee farmers that we've talked to in Indonesia. So these are coffee farmers who basically want to be able to track exactly what steps their coffee bean takes from farm to cup, and they want to track certain attributes that they need to collect at each step along the way in that supply chain. So whether that's the coffee bean size, color, weight, whatever. So this way, the end user is able to drink their coffee and know, exactly whose hands this is touched, exactly where it was sourced, and all that. So, I mean, something like that is a perfect use case for blockchain, which is, a really exciting opportunity because, we've never had the ability to, just see a product like that from start to finish in a completely transparent way without, like you're saying, needing to trust some sort of central entity.
Yeah, it's crazy how such a, the technology is simple in essence, but it's new, and it can reorganize the way the internet works and how we operate as societies, and it can bank the unbanked. There's so many possibilities with this new technology. So we'll wrap up the blockchain topic there. There was one other word I said that I wanted to chat about. I was hoping you might say it. I wasn't sure which one you were going to pick, but the one I want to chat about is networking. So that's less, techie. Everyone knows about networking. And like, what is networking? How are you good at it? Is there anything you've learned from just us networking that you want to talk about? Just talk to me about networking, maybe your strategies, things you've noticed that, we do together, anything. Just chat about networking.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the most important thing that we've talked about with networking is the fact that it's a two-way street. So basically, a big part of networking is being able to provide something of value to other people in your network. So whether that's, connecting them with people that can help them to go where they're trying to go or whatever, you need to be able to bring something of value to the table before you just reach out to somebody to start doing favors for you. So I think that's, a really important aspect of networking.
Yeah. It's like, what's going to make someone respond to an email? You got to have something to offer. You got to get them excited. One thing that I think about with networking is how to really create a genuine connection, especially in this world where we're always on Zoom calls or Google Meet calls, or Microsoft Teams, whatever it may be. And it's how do you create a genuine connection, whether it's a potential client, a potential investor, like how do you get to know them? So this one book I'm reading, I recommend it. It's called Connect. It's actually written about a class at the Stanford Graduate School of Business. They call it the touchy-feely class. So pretty much, I haven't been through the whole book, but one kind of main concept that I've gotten out of it is that in order to get to know someone, you kind of gotta understand how to be vulnerable enough yourself to get them to be a little bit vulnerable too. So I'm not saying you reveal all your secrets or tell them something that they have to hold on to and have to feel bad about. I'm saying, like I was on a call with someone the other day, and what I did is I told them about a mistake we made in business planning, and I was like, yeah, haven't been that good at finding the right developers thus far, trying to build a good team. We need to improve our onboarding process and our vetting process. And when I said this, he gave me so much advice, and then he told me about when he struggled with it. And so it's that ability to be a little bit vulnerable within the context of business, to let the other party understand that you're trying to learn, you're trying to grow, and they honestly normally respond to it pretty well from my experience.
Yeah.
So let's get into the meat of this episode. Talking about this right here. Clear contracts. An early stage blockchain startup. What are we? What do we do?
So basically, at Clear Contracts, we make smart contracts extremely accessible. So to step back and say, what's a smart contract? A smart contract is basically a transaction that's programmed to behave a certain way. So you can essentially enter into contracts with other parties, and before you ever even enter that contract, you can describe exactly what outcomes this contract can have, and both parties can be assured that the right money will go to the right people. So this idea is super powerful because there's applications for this in basically every industry. So what we've kind of realized is we should just start making smart contracts accessible for as many people as possible. So kind of lower the barrier to entry to create and interact with smart contracts. So right now, to build a smart contract, you have to know Haskell and a language called Plutus. So these are called functional programming languages. So basically, these are super math intensive, and so it's not really used by your everyday programmer. So the barrier to entry is pretty high because you not only have to understand these pretty niche programming languages, but you also have to understand blockchain and Cardano specifically. So we pretty much get rid of the need for all of that. So we make you, basically your options right now without us are you either spend a ton of time learning this new programming language, which is probably not like something you're used to, or you can hire super expensive developers that are going to cost you a ton of money. So what we do is we make it super easy to create your own smart contract. So we turn that process into a simple online form. So basically all a user has to do to create smart contracts with us is fill out an online form, submit it, and then that creates their own custom smart contract and deploys that on the Cardano network.
Yeah, it's pretty cool what we're doing, honestly.
Yeah,
we're turning this really complicated technology that can have such a profound impact in the world, and we're changing it from crazy code to a simple online form.
Yeah.
We're making it accessible to the masses. That's what we're doing here. We're making this new technology that can improve the contract process. It can create a secure voting system. It can do all these different types of things. It can bank the unbanked. And we're making it easy for people to access. And, just getting more into that, let's talk about, let's tell our story. Let's tell the story of, I'll start when I started getting interested in this technology, when you came on board, decisions we made. You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Let's just tell the story. So, I was living in Jerry with a few of my good friends at Stanford, and we started to just kind of dig into Bitcoin, Ethereum, blockchain, trying to understand why is this technology worth so much money? Why are people trusting it so much? What's the utility behind this new technology? So I dove into it, and I was fascinated by smart contracts. I saw so many use cases for them. So what I did was I did a research project of how smart contracts could optimize the sports agency industry. And what I realized is they really, really could do that. And I think this is about the point where, the holidays came and we were together in person.
Yeah. So kind of at that same time, I'd been talking about this idea that I had for basically a platform to come together and create contracts between two parties. So I saw a big use case for this in influencer marketing. So essentially a LinkedIn type platform that was made specifically for efficiently creating endorsement contracts. So when you came and explained to me your idea for implementing these smart contracts and the power that smart contracts have, I think it kind of came together with what I was thinking with this platform that creates contracts, and we've kind of run with it from there. So
yeah. So we'll pick up from there. We were both on this project part-time.
Yeah.
And it was about, so we met up, we were both in St. Louis, that's where we grew up together. And we chatted about the idea. Justin liked it, wanted to be part of it, became a duo, and went our separate ways. So Justin went back to Kansas, was going to university, working on this part-time. I had just gotten drafted by DC United, and it's always funny just because on these content creations, you can just keep talking, and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Like in a conversation, I feel like I'd be like, why am I shutting up? But we'll get into every detail. That's what this is for. So I got drafted by DC United. I went to preseason with them. And it was a great experience. And then I ended up signing for their second team, Loudoun United. And I joined that too, but at the same time I was working for clear contracts, and it really became this decision of, you know, what's my ceiling with soccer? What makes me more excited to do? So the best parts of my days, instead of it being practice in the morning, it became, you know, working in the afternoon, you know, networking, trying to figure out how to make this idea real, because if this idea is real, it's a good thing for the world. And so I decided, you know, I wanted to follow my heart. Some of the best advice I got was from a friend, a mentor, just a really cool guy named Bryce Marion. And I was talking to him about this decision I was making. Should I quit soccer? I've done it my whole life. You know, I really love this. And he was like, man, just, you're the only one that's going to know. Just do what gives you energy. And I took that to heart. I think when making decisions, if you can really introspectively look and be like, what gives me energy every day? And you should go with that. You should follow your heart. So that's kind of my quitting decision. Jump into yours.
Yeah. So I had accepted a role at Deloitte in the fall of 2020. So I was supposed to start anytime between May and September when I signed that agreement. So I had requested September because we had been working on clear contracts and I'd been working part-time, and I wanted to, you know, give this as much time as possible to develop, because I knew that, you know, working on something like this would be something that I'd be more passionate about. And so I ended up getting my assigned start date, and it was in July. So we pretty much operated under the premise that I would be starting in July, and we were just trying to get as much done as we could before then. And like exactly 2 weeks before my start date, I emailed my recruiter and I asked for my start date to be pushed back to September. So I didn't hear anything for like the full 2 weeks. We literally had no idea like if I was going to be starting my job. Like,
so I traveled. This is funny because this part of the story, I was in Kansas. We were staying at Justin's house on campus at Kansas University, working on the idea together and just hanging out. And this day it was on my birthday.
Yeah, it was the Friday before I was going to start. I was going to start on Monday.
Yeah, so it was my birthday. It was the Friday before the Monday started, and Justin's like, dude, this girl still hasn't responded yet. Like, I don't know exactly what she's gonna say, if she's gonna respond, yada yada yada. And then he ended up getting an email. She was like, all right, sounds good.
Yeah.
We were stoked. We were like, we have 2 more months to just make shit happen.
Yeah.
And it was an exciting day. I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got it pushed back, and yeah, we kept building, and I think, you know, in those 2 months, we made probably some of the most exciting progress that we've made the entire history of our company. So, you know, we really got kind of the right team together, kind of hit our stride with development, got plugged in with some really exciting people, and it basically just got to the point that, you know, there was so much potential with this that, you know, I knew I would not be happy with myself later in life if I didn't pursue it. And I think that's kind of that's the great part about being this young is, you know, we have the opportunity to take risks like this, devote a couple years to it, and really, you know, dive in as deep as we can to try to make something that's successful. Yeah,
definitely. So we both quit our jobs and are trying to make a startup a reality. That's what's going on. I think we should talk about, I want to talk about the summit at some point, so bring it up so I don't forget. But let's talk about kind of the journey from where we started and where we are now. And I want to kind of start with the narrative of what made me realize, let's run with this.
Yeah.
So I was a professional soccer player at the time, right? there's this process. You get drafted, and then I was in preseason with DC United. There's this per diem clause in like the MLS bargaining agreement with the MLSPA that says draftees are supposed to get per diem when they show up at preseason. And I didn't get mine for the first few weeks. That wasn't a big deal, but I'm just kind of painting the picture here. And then I played for Loudon. Things were going well, ended up quitting, signed a termination agreement, and then like a month and a half later, I got an email from the DC United front office that said, "Hey, can you write us a check for $2,000?" And at first I was like, "Dang, I gotta pay these guys back $2,000." But then I was like, "Whoa, like the technology we're building can fix this issue." Like, we really dug into it. Interviewed people at the MLSPA, just chatting with people at the MLSPA, chatting with people at the MLS front office, and just kind of really digging into, is this an actual problem? And it turns out it is. So that was a use case that I experienced firsthand that this new technology could optimize.
Yeah.
And then we took a step back.
Yeah.
And we started to talk to all sorts of business owners. We talked to, potentially making a commission smart contract that automatically tracks commission for companies. It can have, the agents always get paid out what they're supposed to in the most effective way. We talked about the supply chain you mentioned earlier, obviously automating player contracts. You got those simple escrow agreements ready to go. Talking about consulting contracts. It's like, what contract do we need to build out next?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so this vision that, we had, it went from sports contracts to let's make the world a better place by putting us in any industry we can.
Yeah.
How'd it go for you?
Yeah, I think that kind of a similar realization of understanding, what scope this could be operating at.
Mm-hmm.
Initially we were building our own pretty niche use case, and we both, we'd pretty consistently just throw around business ideas that you could use, pretty much build just centered around the fact that you have these automatic payments. So, the more that, like you said, we went around and talked to different business owners, and we realized, this really can be used in pretty much any industry. I think that, we kind of had this realization a couple weeks ago that we've never gotten on a call with a business owner and left that call and said, yeah, your systems are perfect, there's no use case for smart contracts in your business.
Yeah.
And that's still true today. I think that, pretty much every business, every industry has some sort of payment processing system that's inefficient. So there's just a ton of manual tracking and Excel spreadsheet, just manual labor that's happening here with so much opportunity for mistakes that it's the perfect system for smart contracts to disrupt.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's give an inside conversation.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, like we normally would, you say which contract we should build next, and then I'll say what I think.
Yeah.
So the situation here is we have a consultation agreement, smart contract ready to go once the PAB goes live, and we have a simple escrow contract ready to go once the PAB goes live. And we're excited about a bunch of different use cases, but we can only build out so many contracts at one time. So there's a bunch of different ideas we're tossing around of what's the best contract to build next. If you have an idea of a good use case, hit us up. While I'm thinking about it, check out the link below to join our Discord. This is just a group of people that want to chat ideas, think about smart contracts, all that cool stuff. So the link below should be the invite to the Discord. I'm so good at content creation. This is crazy. Where was I? We were talking about next contract.
Yeah.
I think I prefaced it enough, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think two that I'm excited about are a sales tax smart contract which what I can get into a little bit more, and a sales commission smart contract. So what's interesting is Logan's up visiting there right now, and when you first got here, we went to a store and we asked them if they accepted Bitcoin. And
hey, as a side note, when you go buy something, just be like, "Do you accept crypto?" If you guys just ask the cashier, it's good. It's good for the industry.
Yeah.
And it's always interesting to hear their answers. Some of them will look at you sideways and be like, "What the hell?
Yeah.
Who are you?" And then some of them will be like, "No, we're trying to, but we can't." Or some will be like, "Yeah, I think our owner just put this thing."
Yeah.
Ask. It's interesting. Sorry.
Yeah. No. So basically, what this guy told us was, they used to accept Bitcoin a couple years ago, but essentially the local government shut them down because they didn't think that there was any way for them to track how much they were making, and there was no way for them to get the tax that was due. So what we thought would be really interesting for a use case like that would to be setting up some sort of smart contract where the government that is due the tax on that sale has their own wallet that's hooked up in that smart contract, and right at the point of sale it goes through the smart contract, and whatever 7% or whatever just goes directly to the government right there. So it's a completely transparent system that would allow these local businesses to more easily maybe get approval for accepting crypto, which I think we're all for. And then the other one I brought up was the sales commission. So I think that this one is a super interesting one. The first guy that we kind of talked to that brought it up kind of gave us some insight into how sales commission is tracked right now. And he basically explained that there's a bunch of conditionals when it comes to calculating exactly what your commission will be. So whether it's a new client or an existing client, and what packages they added to maybe what they bought. These are all variables that go into deciding how much commission somebody should get.
And it's hard to track manually.
Yeah. So right now he says they're tracking it all manually in an Excel spreadsheet. And he said that some of his colleagues have missed literally millions of dollars in bonus payments before.
I'd be pissed as a salesman.
Yeah. So that's one that's super easy, and basically we can utilize the company's sales data that they produce, and we can hook that up directly with a smart contract, and basically code all of the logic that could come up with what are the certain conditions that can come up to determine what your exact commission should be, and it'd just be completely automated. So as these salesmen go out and make a sale, it's right there, just sent to them, their commission sent to them.
Automatically tracked, low transaction fees, optimize your business, make sure that you're as a boss, if you have this smart contract, you have all of your salespeople in it.
Yeah.
You are in control of how you incentivize your employees.
Yeah.
Automatically, precisely. That's a powerful tool. So I really like that one. I'll talk about a few that I think would be really cool. You talked about sales tax as well. That's awesome. I really want to build on this.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of, what do we got to do first? What's the best thing for the company?
Yeah.
So I obviously love player contracts.
Yeah.
I always keep it around.
Yeah.
I think it would be a fun one to sell if we make it. I think there's a definite use case. We know there's a use case.
Yeah.
Maybe a little difficult to build out. I like sales commission, I think, better than it as a next step because of the internal data.
Yeah.
We would use internal data from the company for the sales commission, but we would use external data to confirm bonus transactions in sports.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind. It's great that we can do both, but as a next step, it might be easy to implement that. The other one that we've somewhat talked about is a smart contract that counts votes.
Yeah.
Imagine going to local governments and being like, hey, this is how you should have your county vote. This is tested by this. This is decentralized. No one controls this network. Like, this is how you're gonna know the truth.
Yeah.
I think it'd be very interesting to just make an easy smart contract connected to a front end that just you can put in, thing bubbles to fill in.
Yeah.
That's when you find a vote, and then click submit, and you can. I think that would be an interesting contract. Maybe very easy to build as well.
Yeah. I mean, you see stuff like this happening in the Cardano ecosystem already, with like naming the lobster and stuff.
Yeah.
So right now, if you're seeing these screenshots of people, excited that they were able to submit the smart contract and interact with that vote. What the screenshot is just a terminal that just has a bunch of jumbled letters everywhere.
Yeah.
So you really have to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I think that the idea of how powerful a voting system could be that's done on the blockchain is pretty clear. It's just making it so that people can easily cast a vote on the blockchain. It's just making it so people can easily cast a vote on the blockchain. So if we turn this in from something that you have to download this specific program and run this script, whatever, that can be a bit confusing. But if we just say go to this website, make an account, and vote, it's a lot more straightforward to the masses.
Imagine, I know it's like the voting system right now is effed. It is so bad. Like, no matter what side you're on, like the voting system, you have to wait in a long line. You have to go somewhere to vote. People don't trust it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what side you're on. If you don't like a solution that clearly and you can trust more than the current solution, I don't understand it, to be honest.
Yeah. I think that trust is, the biggest thing. Just, it's one thing to say that we have a fair election system, and it's another thing to be able to, formally prove that the system that we're using is fair, and be completely transparent. Because that's basically removing all need to trust a centralized government. So
let's think about, on one side you have like let's polarize things a little bit. On one side you have the notion of Russia tampered with the election, and on the other side you're like, there's a lot of fake votes. Why wouldn't you just want a solution that solves both of those?
Right. Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you just want to know the truth about both of those?
Yeah.
Like, we have the technology.
Yeah.
Like, can we just be a little more diligent about how we legislate this technology? Let's go to our last topic. I have no idea how long we've been chatting, but last topic is why Cardano.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm gonna start us off with just describing the event. We'll chat about it for a little bit, and then we'll wrap up the first co-founder check-in and the first video of the Dink show. Okay. So the Cardano Summit. They're all around the world. There's one in Cape Town. There's one in London. There's one in Switzerland. There's one in everywhere. Like a lot of really cool cities all around the world. And we got stickers that says Cardano is where the world comes together. And it really felt like that for me. So I flew out to Denver. Denver's about a 2-hour drive from where the summit was in rough and rugged Wyoming. And it's so cool because this technology that's going to have such a big impact on the way the world works for the better. Like, I truly believe that. Just after hearing all the panelists talk and seeing how brilliant they are and their vision of the world. Yeah. Like this technology, Cardano, it's going to have the capability to make the world such a cool place and improve it in so many ways. But it's going to have such a big global impact, yet it's held in Laramie, Wyoming, and I liked it there because it felt like it weeded out the fakes, you know?
Yeah.
People that were there believed in the vision.
Yeah. Yeah, it was an exciting, place to be because, as blockchain company co-founders, it's not every day that you get to talk with people that know exactly, kind of what you're talking about when you talk about, the ways that smart contracts can optimize a business. So, normally when we're hopping on those calls and talking to people, we're really starting from square one. So to talk with people who, not only have a base understanding, but they have a deep understanding, like far deeper than we even have, and just to hear kind of, the direction that they think the world is going, was super cool.
Yeah. So, why Cardano?
Yeah, so I think that something that's super interesting that we've been talking about lately, which was somewhat brought up at the summit, is the idea of RealFi. So basically, right now, we're in this DeFi kind of explosion. So this decentralized finance explosion. And basically, the issue with this is a lot of it is completely anonymous. So obviously governments aren't going to like something that's completely anonymous because they want to have eyes on where money's moving and who's making what and who's moving what where. So the idea of RealFi is you can still gain all these benefits of decentralization without necessarily being completely anonymous. So Cardano, I think in our opinion, is one of the best networks that's kind of preparing for a future that looks like that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest reasons for me. It's the DIDs, it's the decentralized identification systems that Cardano has, and you'd said it, RealFi. It's good to have your identity attached to things in a decentralized manner.
Yeah.
Even. It's good to have accountability for what you're doing in certain contexts. You can have some decentralized applications where no name is attached, but for some things, like contracts, it's good to have your name attached.
Yeah,
like
and it helps do things like build reputation.
Yeah,
so
and think about like federal government adopting this for passports.
Yeah.
An immutable record, decentralized of citizens in America.
Yeah.
Instead of it taking, whatever to process and mail it, they can do their due diligence and then put it on the blockchain.
Yeah.
Oh, and also on the blockchain, you can find other decentralized data that is organized in a cool way.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're still, with RealFi, you're still getting, the benefits of that decentralization. So, for example, if you're talking about like a lending platform, you can still have a way higher return annually because of the fact that it's decentralized compared to a bank, because you're not giving your money to that centralized entity for them to make money on the interest that's earning.
And the biggest thing is it's less money and you can trust it more.
Yeah.
There's never been a technology that you could trust more than a centralized bank. And I think the whole thing that's coming up is going to be this battle between, not a battle, because one team is always going to win. It's going to be the blockchain companies, blockchain-equipped companies against non-blockchain equipped companies. And it's my belief that the blockchain companies will always win because there's so much utility to this new technology. Other thing about why Cardano for me, I think I'll just, from a really high level.
Yeah.
You got first generation Bitcoin, second generation Ethereum, third generation Cardano. That's what they say. So really what this means to me is that Cardano had the advantage of learning from the blockchains that came before. Charles had a vision and he's working to make it happen. They have an amazing team that understand how the world should work. They understand how this new technology can make the world a better place. And they're preparing for it in the right way. They're not rushing things. They never have. Peer-reviewed research all the time. Diligent, careful.
Yeah.
That's a big reason for me. It's just how carefully they've gone about things. And the vision they have aligns with division, I want to be part of.
Yeah, yeah, I 100% agree. They're they really emphasize the fact that they're trying to make a ecosystem and a platform that's really fair to everybody. So I think the things that we talked about this weekend, like the dApp store, and really opening that platform up to allow anybody to upload their own dApps. It's just decisions like that they make that are truly in the spirit of true decentralization. And
what's good for us is how much they weigh contract auditing and verification. I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Like this, we're going to be doing some important stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to be moving a lot of money. Let's make sure it's audited.
Yeah.
We can trust it. And everyone in this network knows that. We're the go-to guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're doing things exactly the right way. They're incentivizing people like us to want to audit our code and want it to be the highest standard possible. And I think that's exactly what we're going to be doing, because there is a benefit to doing that in the dApp store. So I think that they're making the right decisions, and kind of going back to what you said, just their development practices. They're going about things a slow and methodical way, but there's a lot of thought that's gone into the reasons they've made certain decisions, and I think that kind of the rest of the blockchain world is kind of starting to wake up to that. So it'll be an interesting next couple of years to see what Cardano does, but right now I think that we're extremely happy with that decision.
I would wrap up by saying I'm stoked about our current position as a business.
Yeah.
I think we're in a good spot. I think we worked really hard for like 7 months, built the right foundation here, made the right connections, are in the right community, and really we just kind of have, once our product goes live, once we get that update we need from the network, I'm really excited about selling a product.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with that, we're going to wrap this thing up. I honestly have no idea how long it was. But
that laptop's still alive.
Yeah, I have no idea. But thank you guys for watching. Like I said, there's a Discord below. Feel free to reach out to me in any capacity. If you know me, maybe someone random, shoot a comment down there. I'm sure I'll be looking at them. Not many people are going to be watching this, so hope you guys enjoyed the content, and thanks for listening. No idea who the next episode will be with, but I'll be trying to do a weekly one. Thanks for watching.